close ally of Donald Trump and possible conspirator to all of the actions that the Trump administration and Trump himself took in the lead up to January 6th and on January 6th to overturn the lawful election results, has agreed after months of resisting to testify in front of the January 6th committee. Fascinating stuff. Let's read from Bloomberg. Donald Trump's one-time advisor, Steve Bannon, has agreed to testify to the House committee investigating last year's storming of the U.S. Capitol after the former president waived an assertion of executive privilege. Bannon's overture was confirmed by his lawyer, Robert Costello, who on Sunday made public a letter from Trump waiving his previous claim of executive privilege that sought to block Bannon's testimony. In the letter, Trump expresses frustration to Bannon over how the committee's public hearings this summer have presented findings about Trump and the events of January 6th. The next hearing is set for Tuesday. So Trump wrote a letter to Bannon saying, "I'm waiving executive privilege. I want you to go. You now have freedom to testify from the January 6th committee endorsed by me." Trump portrays the inquiry in biased and one-sided, telling Bannon his waiver will allow for you to go in and testify truthfully and fairly as per the request of the unselect committee of political thugs and hacks. So Trump feels like Bannon is his opportunity to be spoken for, his opportunity to have someone testify there and give Trump's side of the story and not portray Trump in such a bad light. Interesting. Bannon is among the Trump advisors who allegedly pressed the former president to try to stop the counting of electoral college ballots and certification of Joe Biden's presidential victory at the Capitol on January 6th. Quote, "We believe Mr. Bannon has information valuable to our probe," Committee Chairman Benny Thompson, a Mississippi Democrat, said in October. He himself warned that all hell would break loose on January 6th. He's clearly an important witness. So we're going to take a look in just a second here at that moment that Benny Thompson alluded to about Bannon for January 6th or in the morning of January 6th, one of the two, saying all hell's going to break loose. This is the time, attack, blah, 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 blah. So clearly he had some knowledge beforehand about what was about to go down. And I do think it's very valuable to have him come in and testify. Now, he's going to be prepped so well. He's going to know exactly which strategy he wants to take to avoid incriminating himself or Trump. So while I think having him testify is good, it's definitely not going to be some moment where we get all of the truth that we want to gain from Steve Bannon, because clearly he knew stuff. He was advising Trump to try to overturn the election. He publicly said stuff that was very questionable, as we're about to watch, in the lead up to January 6th. So we want to know what he actually was involved in and what he actually knew beforehand, and it could prove a lot. Unfortunately, if he's agreeing to testify, unlikely that he's going to go up there and spill all of the beans. Last thing before we watch this, probably why he's doing this, in addition to Trump wanting someone to represent him better, is he was being held in contempt for not complying with these subpoenas, and it was looking pretty bad for him going forward. If he continued to avoid testifying in the legal department, it looked bad. So that could have nudged him and Trump to change their mind on this. But let's go ahead and look at this moment that really raised red flags about what Steve Bannon knew.
All hell is going to break loose tomorrow. Just understand this.
All hell is going to break loose tomorrow. So the day before January 6th, he's saying all hell is going to break loose tomorrow.
All hell is going to break loose tomorrow. It's going to be moving. It's going to be quick. This is not a day for fantasy. This is a day for maniacal focus. Focus, focus, focus. We're coming in right over the target.
We're coming in right over the target. What else would you be talking about? No, I mean metaphorically.
Okay, exactly. This is the point of attack.
The point of attack we've always wanted.
We always wanted. All hell.
I don't know how else you could spin that. Whenever he's asked about that, unless he pleads the fifth, what possibly could be the context or the metaphor that he was operating within that would make that not a clear indication that he knew it was going to get violent, and that was the plan? He had been pushing Trump and allies to reject the lawful election result and try to keep Trump in power. And then he goes out on his podcast and says, all hell's going to break loose tomorrow. We're going in on the target. It's time for attack, or whatever he said. Something about attacking. That's scary stuff. And that shows it was definitely on his mind, and he was aware of what he was pushing for his followers to do and what he wanted the outcome of that to be. Clearly, Bannon wanted this violent attack on the Capitol to prevent the electoral count so that Biden wouldn't be certified, so that Trump could stay in power and cause a constitutional crisis as well as just a general crisis nationwide. So good that he's testifying. Fascinating to see how he's going to dodge the questions and how he's going to avoid telling the truth about this, but we'll be watching.